On tap for us today. We'll get you ready on a hot Friday night for all the high school football games, a recap of the baseball playoffs, and some NFL picks. Hot Mike starts now.
Hot Mike with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mike.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mike. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good Friday morning. Welcome to the hottest day we can imagine, an October edition of Hot Mike on WDAY Extra, KSFL TV. Good morning to our friends in Sioux Falls, KNBN in western South Dakota, and Inforum.com. Happy Friday, everybody, on the third day of October. We're heading for 90 today. Really? It's hoodie weather. Nobody got the memo on that. Monday when we come back, it apparently will feel like that, but not today. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the big show. I am Dom Izzo, host of said program. Thanks to my guy, Sam Getzinger, for filling in for me yesterday. We had a big deal yesterday. It's one of those dad things you don't want to miss. And there's only a handful, but yesterday at the Jackman School, they had their annual walkathon. Now, last year they had it was in the middle of the day, which, as it turns out, this year there was a blessing considering how warm it got. But yesterday was early in the morning, was during showtime. The powers that be were gracious enough to say, you go ahead and do that. So I had to miss the show yesterday. But I got my steps in. There's no doubt about that. I believe the Jackman walked 3 miles yesterday. So shout out to him on that. He was a tired little boy last night, but he got his he did awesome. So thanks to Sam for filling in for me yesterday. We are ready to rock and roll here on a busy Friday. We'll have our final appearance with Cory Provus for 2025 coming up here. No shortage of news there, considering the Twins moved on from Rocco Baldelli. We'll discuss that and the moving on to the Division Series route of the baseball postseason, which will show you how things wrapped up yesterday across Major League Baseball in just a moment. As honestly, this is a dynamite weekend. You look around, you've got playoff baseball on television. You've got about 800 college football games on TV, not the Bison. It's a sore spot there. The Bison game is streaming this weekend. Don't call me. Don't call the station. The game is on ESPN+. And, of course, a full weekend of NFL games with the Vikings playing again bright and early in London. I mean, when we come back Monday, what are we going to be discussing? We're talking about the Vikings getting back to 3-2, or are they going to be under 500 and lose both games overseas? Who's going to be up in the baseball postseason? Can the Gophers somehow cover, not win, cover against the Ohio State? Last I saw, they were a 24-point underdog for their game. Heck, the Bison game, that came out yesterday. North Dakota State is a 24.5-point favorite against the 6th-ranked team in the country. You can legislate all you want. I don't believe Illinois State is the 6th best team. I think I have Illinois State at 10 or 11 in my most recent poll, and I'm not alone there. But if that is what Las Vegas deems this game is tomorrow night, yowza, what situation are we on in FCS football? Something we've been talking plenty about. So there's a variety of things we could be discussing come Monday. That's why this is the best time of the year. And we'll get into that. And of course, it's Friday. We got picks with my dad coming up to wrap up the show, so we're looking forward to that. And it's off a Yankee win over the Red Sox. I can't even imagine the mood he's going to be in later in the show. And I think he hit in his parlay as well. So he's going to be a good deal coming up later on in the show. Let's begin with the baseball postseason. We had 3 winner-take-all games yesterday in Cleveland, in Chicago, and in New York. That was the situation. The winners moving on to the division series. Losers are done First time we've had this since the advent of this best of 3 in the wild card round since 2020. We had this many series up for grabs. We'll begin in Cleveland yesterday. The Tigers and the Guardians. Detroit won Game 1. Cleveland came back and won Game 2. So Game 3 yesterday, tied at 1 in the 6th until Dylan Dingler unties it with this solo home run to make it a 2-1 Tiger lead. Same score, top of the 7th. Winsel Perez delivers with a base hit to right field. That's going to score 2 runs. The Tigers have opened this game up. It's a 4-1 score. Big time hit from Perez. This is what the Tigers were doing for the first 4 months of the year. They had an epic collapse to have to play this series on the road. Later, Spencer Torkelson up at the plate. He laces one to left. That's going to score another run. It's 5-1 Detroit in the 7th. They're having fun in that Tiger dugout. Bottom of the 9th, it's 6-3. Last chance for the Guardians, but that'll do it. Detroit staves off after a 15.5 game lead. The Tigers beat the Guardians 6-3. They win the series 2-1. They will get the Seattle Mariners in the next round. Last night in the Boogie Down in the Bronx, Game 3, Yankees-Red Sox. Anthony Volpe. Yankee fans been screaming that forever to come up with a big hit. He delivers opposite field here to make it a 2-0 New York. The place is going nuts. Austin Wells up at the plate. He'll deliver a little pinball shot off Nathaniel Lowe. That's going to go into right. 2 runs are going to come in to score. That's a tough play, but one you probably got to make. It's 4-0 Yankees. The story, this guy pitched against the Twins in the final week of the year. Cam Schlittler, get that one right. He was amazing last night. Dominant against this Red Sox lineup. Just fooling guys left and right. He gets out of the 7th inning. This is the best part here after he gets another strikeout to end the 7th. As he's walking off the moon on the mound here, he's going to tell Aaron Boone, he's going, read his lips here. He's going to go back out. How about that? Yankee fans always creative with signs. So he's out there for the 8th inning. Of course he starts with a strikeout of Romy Gonzalez, his 12th strikeout of the night. Jarren Duran up. Watch Ryan McMahon, who they got from the Rockies, over the dugout. That's a tremendous catch. Yankee fans will remember Charlie Hayes did that way back when in 1996, the year they won the World Series. Schlittler, unbelievable performance. 12 strikeouts, 8 innings, no runs, no walks. Top of the 9th, David Bednar, who they got from the Pirates. Of course, McMahon's over there in foul territory to make the catch. The Yankees are moving on. A 4-0 win over Boston. They'll get Toronto. Meanwhile, in the National League, the Padres and the Cubs played a winner-take-all. Why can't the Mets find players like Pete Crow Armstrong? Delivers a base hit in the bottom of the 2nd. Gets the Cubs off to an early lead. They would go up 2-0. Jeremiah Estrada on the mound. Boy, he was so good here. Gets a fly out. That keeps Chicago. You don't think these guys are pumped up. Makes a 2-0 lead. Bottom of the 7th, Michael Busch up at the plate. Unloads into the stands and right at Wrigley. Send that place going crazy. They go up now. It's a 3-0 Cubs lead. Padres, though, would make it interesting. Top half of the 9th. Jackson Merrill up at the plate. This is sent deep to right. Padres had a dynamite lineup this year. That's out of here. All of a sudden, it's 3-1. Padres, all they need is a bloop and a blast. And they tie the game after a controversial strikeout of Xander Bogaerts, who went crazy. Ryan O'Hearn is hit. So he's on. So now the tying run will come to the plate. Bryce Johnson, he's hit. Back-to-back guys are hit by pitches. Craig Counsell has to come in and bring in Andrew Kittredge. to pitch for the third straight day. This only happens in the baseball postseason where pitchers are yanked. Jake Cronenworth up at the plate. This is a really close play. Out at third is the call. Matt Shaw came up with the throw. Of course, the Padres will challenge. Bang, bang call here, folks, but watch the replay. He's out. Dynamite call by the umpire. So Freddie Fermin is the last chance for San Diego. He's got 2 hits in the game, but he flies out. Of course, PCA is going to make the final out of the game. And the Cubs are moving on. They beat the Padres 3-1 to win the series 2-1. And they've got a date with the Milwaukee Brewers. So here is the bracket as you wake up this morning. We're down to 8 left in the baseball postseason. Tigers, Mariners, Yankees, Blue Jays. The winners of that will play for the American League pennant. Dodgers, Phillies. Sign me up for that. Heavyweight battle will begin in Philadelphia. And the Cubs and the Brewers. You've got 2 division rematches happening. Honestly, folks, even without my favorite team here, these are 4 really, really good series. It all begins tomorrow across baseball. TBS and Fox, your home for the divisional round. TBS has the National League. Fox has the American League this year, is how that breaks down. So, pretty dynamite stuff we saw there yesterday. If you're a baseball rube like I am, that was great. Even if you're not a baseball fan, I hope you gave some attention to that last night because that was really a lot of fun, depending where you were at. Even with the Yankees winning, I guess it's fun there. Lastly, before we set up our show, while that was happening in the Bronx, the 49ers and Rams opened up week number 5 of the National Football League schedule. And San Francisco all beat up. No Brock Purdy. Kittle's out. They got nobody against a Rams team that feels like, frankly, they should be unbeaten. They lost a tough game to the Eagles on the blocked field goal to win it. Came back, knocked off the Colts last weekend. Now a short week with a division rival. They were a heavy favorite. But before we show you any of the highlights, you have to see what Mac Jones was wearing coming in to the stadium last night, because only you could pull this off if you're a starting quarterback. I'm not sure if even our guy Kyle Emanuel could pull that off. And then play like this. He hits Christian McCaffrey for a touchdown. It's 14-0 San Francisco. It's 17-7, and he absolutely gets blown up by our guy Jared Verse. Played here in Fargo against Albany. Mac would come up. He'd be okay. He'd stay in the game. Rams would come back in this game. It's 20-7. Matt Stafford, it's Puka Nacua, makes it 20-14. Same score. Now in the 4th, Kyron Williams scores. That ties the game up at 20. The extra point, the Rams special teams. No! It gets blocked. Jordan Elliott comes through, gets a hand on it. Watch again, big number 92 there, comes through and blocks it. So the game is tied at 20. Fast forward to late in the 4th quarter. 59-yard attempt from Eddie Pinheiro is good. Why can't the Bears find kickers like him? San Fran goes up 23-20. So now the Rams have to answer. 1st and goal from the 3. Williams, is he in? No, he fumbled the football. He fumbled it at the 1-yard line. Look again. What a punch out. And the 49ers, you've seen that all over football. Guys are just doing that. They get the ball back at the 1. But the Rams had all their timeouts. San Fran had to punt. So, of course, Stafford's going to do something. On 4th down and 3, hits Kyron Williams for 13 yards and a 1st down. Sets up Joshua Carty. He was the guy kicking in front of our guy Emmett Kenny at Stanford. With no time left, drills this field goal from 48 yards out to send the game to overtime. So we go to OT. San Fran scored a field goal, so the Rams must score to keep the game going. Look at Stafford here. Somehow make a play, go down the field, gets that one complete for 38 yards. So now the Rams are in field goal range. It's 4th and 1. McVay stays on the field. And Williams gets stopped short of the first down. The 49ers make a huge fourth down stand. San Francisco wins it 26-23 in overtime. McVay called it afterwards, said he hated the call. Not sure why'd you call it then. Stafford goes for 389 and 3. Look at Mac Jones. Why can't the Patriots find quarterbacks like him? 342 and 2. San Francisco, look at that stat. 3-0 with Mac Jones as the starter. And they're now 4-1 and in first place in the NFC West without Brock Purdy and without George Kittle. San Fran is cruising. Good one to start week number 5 in the National Football League. Fun one last night out there in L.A. We have a packed show coming up for you here. It's a football Friday. I don't care if it's 90 degrees out. We are locked and loaded for what's going to be a dynamite show. We'll give you our high school football preview coming up here in just a few minutes. We got 1 versus 2 in the state here in the south side of town happening tonight. Also, our guest lineup is brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. I mentioned it earlier. Our final appearance with Cory Provus for the season is coming up here at 9:35. We'll chat with Cory about the change of Rocco Baldelli, who the Twins could be looking at, and all sorts of offseason topics with the Twins. Pitching staff, who's going to be back with this team. We'll discuss that coming up at 9:35. At 10 o'clock, Central Cass head football coach Tommy Butler will join us. Squirrels got a big one tonight at home with Red River. Right now, they sit just a game back of the rivals of Kindred in 2A football. Transition for them has gone smoothly, moving up from A to AA. We'll talk to him about that coming up at 10. And at 10:35, Stone Cold NFL picks with my dad, who is got to be in a jovial mood this morning after his beloved Yankees won. The Mets missed the playoffs, and I think he hit his parlay last night with Puka. He told me he needed 5 more yards from Puka Nacua. I hope he got it. We'll see. But he'll deliver his picks for week 5 of the NFL season coming up before we wrap up the show. So that's our lineup here on a busy Friday morning. We'll take our first break. We come back. We'll get you ready for a dynamite weekend of high school football that starts tonight. It's going to be a warm one. Look at that suit. I don't even think Emmanuel can pull it off. I don't think Getzinger can pull it off. I know I couldn't. Back on Hot Mic right after this. That music means it's time for high school football chatter. We got 2 games tonight for you. Red River and Central here on Extra. Davies, Shanley on WDAY2. Coverage begins at 7 on a warm Football Friday. Highlights of both of those coming up tonight on First Down Friday. I can't remember. I mean, I know 2 years ago, Lydia said it this morning, that it was 90 degrees. I have no recollection of that whatsoever. I just know it's too bleeping hot for October. By the way, I've already got an email on this. Dom, you went through the whole opening segment of the show and neglected to mention the biggest deal that happened overnight, which apparently Taylor Swift's album dropped at midnight. Eric, did you go to Target? I heard our guy Ryan Longnecker went to Target. Were you there?
I was in bed.
Hey, I'm not going to throw stones. I'm the nerd that goes to the movies at midnight, or used to. I don't do it anymore. I'm an old man now. But shout out to those that did. I'm sure the reviews will be coming in or already there.
Although, with as long as the NFL game went, you could have went to Target.
Hey, you know what? I did not make the end of it. What time? I did not see the end of the game last night.
I think it was like 11:15,
yeah,
11:20.
I did not make the end of the game last night.
I was like rooting for another tie just so next year we get no more ties in the NFL, but beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed to admit I did not see the end of the football game. I watched the end of. I definitely saw the Rams tie it, and then I did not see any of overtime. So whatever time that was after 10:30. I missed OT. All right. Before we get into the games, check this out. Tonight in West Fargo, we got history. Because for the first time, Horace and West Fargo, you see it on our ticker, are playing football, varsity football against one another. And evidently, there's a trophy already at stake. This came out of the Hawks Twitter account. That's a tremendous trophy. We don't have a name for it yet, though. Come on, guys. We got. If we're going to do this, we got to have a name for it. Now, Eric lives in Horace. You could probably name this since you live out there. I can't even claim to it. I don't live in West Fargo nor Horace. Like, I don't know what we can call this trophy. Like the Bonanza Bowl? Can we do that since Bonanzaville's out there? Go for it. You live out like Bonanzaville's in West Fargo. Can we call like the Bonanza Bowl? I don't know.
What about the Hawker Trophy?
The Hawker Trophy?
So yeah, you have the Horace Hawks, then you just add the ER from the Packers.
But not okay. But if you're hawking something, you're like trying to get rid of it. I don't know if you want to do that. I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
I'm throwing them out. I'm giving them ideas here.
But that's the whole point, though. They should have had something. What are we doing, guys? But that's on the line tonight. We're in conference play. After 1 week, the standings, obviously, Shanley on top, Davies on top. Fun part about that, they play tonight. Horace is sitting there at 1-0 in the EDC with North Cheyenne and West Fargo still looking for their first wins. Out west in the WDA, no surprise, Central in the 2A. Central leads there in 2A with Kindred. Here's the WDA standings with Legacy, Bismarck, Century. Remember, top 4 make it to the postseason. We're going back to that format with Minot, Mandan, and Williston all looking for their first wins. In 2A out west, you've got Minot North is head and shoulders above everybody else. Keep an eye on Devil's Lake, though. They're hanging around Watford City as well. Remember, same thing in the 2A format. Top 4 make it there to go to the postseason. Here are the games tonight. We already tipped you off in 3A football that Horace and West Fargo are playing tonight. I've been asking for this game for 3 years. Since Horace, actually 4 years, since Horace started playing varsity football, when were they going to play the big boys? When were they going to play West Fargo? When were they going to play Cheyenne? It starts tonight. We were talking with Carter Menz about this on the show on Wednesday. A Cheyenne kid. I think his family lives in Horace. This is a big one tonight. Looking forward to that. You can't get much bigger than 1 versus 2. Davies and Shanley, we got that game for you coming up tonight. The 25th Street rivalry game. There's a trophy at stake there. You have it be named after a street. Can it be the Veterans Memorial? Like what? Right? Isn't it Veterans that goes out by Horace? Can we have that? Give us a street name, something. Also, North takes on Cheyenne tonight. Each of those teams are looking for their first conference win. Out west, you've got Minot and Legacy. Legacy seems to have bounced back well after their loss to Horace a couple weeks ago. You got Bismarck and Mandan. And I'm telling you right now, folks, Century is not to be trifled with. The Patriots are just rolling along here. They're going to be heard from. They've got Williston. Long road trip for them tonight. In 2A football. Big one tonight. We mentioned it. Red River taking on Central Cass. We'll preview that game. That'll be fun. South and Kindred. Wapaton's taking on Grand Forks Central tonight. Dickinson and Jamestown. Devil's Lake just quietly sitting there at 4-1 saying, hey, give us some love. Firebirds had a really nice year. St. Mary's, always a tough place to play. We'll see if they can pick up a road win there. And Minot North has been the class of 2A in the West. Again, it seems like it's them and Kindred that are on a collision course for the Dakota Bowl coming up in mid-November. They've got the road trip to Watford City tonight. Those are the matchups across 3A and 2A football in North Dakota. You've got some dynamite. That Davies-Shanley game I'll circle right away. The game we've got on tonight as well. Red River taking on Central Cass. Should be awfully interesting. Central, by the way, sitting there like, hey, Dom, we're unbeaten. I know. We had Coach Schauer on a few weeks ago after the nice start they've had. This will all get sorted out, at least in the East, because they play everybody. Which is, I guess, the one part of back to having conference games is you're playing everybody in your own quote-unquote conference. So you've got that. And weather certainly doesn't look like it's going to be an issue tonight, so we're going to find out. By the way, a 9-man, I was looking at the latest poll that came out. Literally, it's a carbon copy of last year. New Rockford Cheyenne is number 1. LLM is number 2. Where have we heard that before? Those two teams played in the Dakota Bowl last year. We could have a rematch. We haven't had that in 9-man football. It's been a bit since the same two teams played in the Dakota Bowl. We've had it in other classes, 2A more frequently. It seemed like St. Mary's and Shanley were playing every year in 2A football. So thankfully that's changed a little bit. But those are the games. Spuds have a biggie tonight. They play Eden Prairie. We'll see how Moorhead bounces back after the loss to Maple Grove. And see a bunch of other high school games on our ticker. Scores, highlights of a bunch of them coming up tonight on the first Friday, an October edition of First Down Friday, coming up tonight with Cullen and the crew at 10:20. We're due for a break. We come back. We'll shift gears and talk baseball. Our guy Cory Provus on the other side. Final appearance of 2025 as the Twins look ahead to an uncertain offseason. Who's coming back? Who's going to be the manager? We'll ask him all that and much more when Hot Mike returns on a Friday morning. We're back after this.
Deep to left center field. Back it goes and gone. The 0-2 pitch. Hey! Struck him out swinging at 101. Swinging a drive. Left field and deep. Back it goes and gone. And the Twins walk it off again.
Well, we have come to the end of the road for our appearances with Cory Provus each and every Friday, which I hate to say that because that means the baseball season is nearing an end, and the Twins season obviously came to an end on Sunday with a loss to the Phillies, and then the news that came Monday that may not have shocked some fans with the dismissal of Rocco Baldelli as Cory makes his final appearance with us. His appearance is brought to us each and every Friday by Welton's Tire Service. All right, my man, I guess informed baseball fans probably aren't surprised. I will ask you, though, as the broadcaster of the team, were you surprised about the dismissal?
No, I'm not. Not surprised. I mean, disappointed, but not surprised, Dom, just because he missed the playoffs for the last 5 years, the way the last 2 seasons have gone. You don't fire players in this game, and sadly, this is how this works. So I wasn't shocked by the news, but yeah, sad and disappointed because I got to know Rocco pretty well these last 7 years, and certainly on the radio side, my daily interaction with him. I mean, I had interaction with him daily when I was doing TV, but still, doing the radio show with him every day, you develop a relationship pretty quickly, and you get to know who they are more than just their title. You get to know them as a citizen, as a father, as a husband, and a friend. And so I'll miss him. I'll certainly miss not having Rocco around.
You know, Derek Falvey had the press conference on Tuesday and consistently said it was a collaboration. It's hard, though, and we've talked about this over the last few months after the decisions at the deadline to me, it's hard to go out and win when you take 10 guys off the roster. And I understand when you lose 90 games, you mentioned it, somebody's got to take the fall on that. But it's like the chicken and the egg deal. Like I don't know how to field a winning team when you trade all my best guys at July 31.
Yeah, and I don't think this decision was made a month ago. I think this was kind of how this was trending. And certainly Rocco, he did not have a great chance, I think, to succeed these last 2 months, just based on everything that we saw take place at the end of July when you trade off 40% of your roster and your top 5 bullpen pieces. Good luck. I mean, good luck, trying to win. And I think the Twins finished with the worst record post All-Star break of any team in the game. So, yeah, I think that's a fair argument to be made. But again, I hate to repeat myself. This is how this works. So the manager is often the one on the chopping block, and when you miss the playoffs 4 out of 5 years, that's going to happen.
Did you get a sense it was not necessarily a formality, just being around the team the last weekend in Philly, that there was something ominous coming?
No, I mean, Derek Falvey joined the team in Philadelphia. Jeremy Zoll was on the whole trip, but I don't think that's unusual. I think Derek wanted to be there at the end just to kind of see it through, and I don't think that was too surprising. I didn't know how this was going to go. I was often asked throughout the second half by opposing broadcasters and writers and like, what are my thoughts? And I thought it was 50-50. I mean, I really that's where I was leaning this whole time because of what you just said, Dom, is fair. I mean, the side to back Rocco is that was he even given a chance these last 2 months to truly succeed based on the roster that he had? No, I don't think you can say that. But I think it's just a collection of things, and I think it's the results based not just on a 2-month sample, but based on the last couple of seasons. And this is what these guys sign up for. I mean, it's rare that managers have these incredible runs like they used to. And the Twins still, going back to 1986, have had, 4 managers? Yeah. And it's remarkable. It's remarkable that they've had that kind of stability, the last 40 years, that they've only had 4 managers is really something.
I think, honestly, the job he did, you won the division the first year managing the Bomba Squad team of 2019. The team in 2023 was highly entertaining to watch, and obviously they ended the playoff drought. How will his tenure, in your mind, be remembered?
I think he is somebody that he really let the players do their own thing. And I don't think he was in their face too much. And I think he was somebody that he delegated a lot. He was one that if you asked him about pitching, he'd be like, I don't really focus on that. I let Pete Mackey and the pitching team and Wes Johnson and Colby Suggs and Josh Ruffin. I mean, he would say, I let the pitching guys do that. If you'd ask him about hitting, he would offer a little bit more insight into certain swings. But again, he would let, whether it was David Popkins, whether it was Matt Borgschulte, Trevor Amicone, Rudy Hernandez, he would let the hitting guys do their thing. So he really let the coaches coach. And he spent a lot of time on lineups. I mean, that was something when Rocco, his routine on the road was he would go get coffee somewhere on the road and he'd be there for a long time. He'd find these, boutique coffee shops in towns. He had some favorites of his, but he wasn't going to Starbucks or Caribou. He was going to like locally owned coffee shops, and he would spend his time there doing lineups. And that was something he put his attention on. Paul Molitor was different. Paul would be somebody that he went into his office. He'd have film on and video on of the opposing pitcher that night, trying to see if there were any little tells he could pick up on. Was he tipping anything? And then Molly would often, take some baseballs, and going to Chicago, going to Cleveland at home plate, he'd roll baseballs up the first and third base line just in case the guys were going to bunt. He wanted to see how the ball was going to roll. So every manager had their different thing, but Rocco really spent his time on lineup construction. But again, early on, going back to that first year, the players all said collectively, he really lets us do our thing. The whole idea of batting practice being optional, that was new to me, and that was new to a lot of guys. And I think early on, the players really enjoyed that style.
I have to ask now, as we look ahead, does a connection to the team, a past anything, is that necessary or mandatory in your mind to be the next manager of the Twins?
No, I don't think it's mandatory. What I do wonder is, and look, Rocco played, I just wonder about the next staff that comes in. I think they're looking for more major league experience. I think that was missing at times where it was, players were going to Morneau, to Perkins, heck, to Plouffe, to Hawk. I mean, and Hawk's around the team a lot with his other role. I think that's kind of missing here a little bit, that I think they might be seeking more coaches that played. And I think just somebody that can relate to what these guys are going through, especially during some down times. If guys are just not in a good way, mentally, physically, to be able to lean on guys that have been there and done that. I wonder this next cycle if we'll see more of that.
You think this is a quick hire, and there's necessarily you have to be on, like, it's not football, especially college football, where you got to hire somebody right away. Is this something that goes till the winter meetings or in mid-November? What's your gut on when they hire somebody?
Yeah, I would say by, whenever the GM meetings and owners meetings, when all that stuff starts, that's always the second, third week in November. I would imagine that this thing is buttoned up in about a month or so. But again, they might want to talk to people that are on active staffs right now. And so, look, I can speak from personal experience here. When the Twins hired me, it was after I was with Milwaukee in 2011. We were in the playoffs that year, and they were kind enough to wait for my season to end before interviewing me. And I would imagine that there are going to be some candidates that are on active playoff rosters right now that are busy with their day jobs here. So, can they squeeze in an interview, I think, between rounds? Sure. But in terms of, getting that person in town, and I'm sure there's going to be multiple rounds of this process, that might not happen until that coach and that coach's team, that season ends. So I think we'll learn, and this stuff leaks out. The team will ask for permission to speak with X, Y, and Z, and Dan Hayes and, the writers, Bob Nightingale, and I think Ken Rosenthal, Jeff Passan, they seem to always have the no on this. So we'll see those names kind of leak out that so-and-so has asked for permission to speak with, this staff member. So, but I'm not dead set that it has to be somebody that has been a Twin, has really been invested into Twins territory. I don't think that's a necessity. I think it's great if it does happen that way, but I don't think it's a necessity.
Does Rocco manage in 2026 in your mind?
No, I don't think so. I think he's got 3 young kids, and heck, the Twins picked up his option for next year.
Yeah.
So he's getting, compensated. I think for him to just sit back and he's got kids. I mean, his 3 kids are probably 5 and under. 4 and under. I mean, he's got twin boys and his daughter. I would imagine that he is really excited. He's got this really nice house in Rhode Island that it took years to build this thing. I don't know what took so long, but it took a long time. I would imagine that he's going to enjoy that. He loves music. I think he would love to go see some Fish shows somewhere, go see some soccer matches somewhere, and really lock in with his family. I mean, if that's what he wants to do, great. But it wouldn't shock me if he just unplugs for a little bit and really gets back into his family for a year.
A couple more minutes here with Cory and his final appearance with us in 2025. I'm interested, starting rotation-wise, if the Twins decide to move from Joe Ryan and Pablo Lopez, or one of the two, what does it look like in 2026, in your opinion?
Well, the way the last week went, I'm somewhat encouraged. I thought the last week, it's a small – again, it's a week, but
right.
I give all the credit to Simeon Woods-Richardson and the second half he had and the finish he had, because I had my doubts about him. Is he a bullpen guy? What's his role going to be? He got better. Mm-hmm. He got better. He got stronger. And that splitter was a much better pitch for him than the changeup was. I feel much better about the ceiling and the potential for Simeon Woods-Richardson now than I did 3 or 4 months ago. There's certainly a foundation there with Mick Abel, with his velocity and his stuff. Taj Bradley, too. They've got some power arms. It's not like the cabinet is empty here. And remember the division they play in. Yeah. And I keep reminding people of that. You don't need to win 98 games to win this division. And, the starting staff, I feel okay about. It's the hitting. That's kind of where I'm at here, because there's too many guys underperformed offensively. Yeah. And there are so many stats in our game, you can get lost into them. But I know that one stat in particular that we reference on the broadcast a lot that I think is a good one to really study is WRC plus. And 100 is league average. How many runs are you producing for your team in terms of league average? And if you're 100, you're average. So they had too many guys. They were either 102, 101, 98, 99, and then some other guys that were in the 80s. That can't work. Yep. I mean, you need your studs, and Buxton was great, and Keyshaw was great, but you need your guys. You need more guys to be 125, 130, and there's first-round talent here that just needs to take a step up and needs to produce. So that, to me, is more of the concern that I have about how they look and how they play. It's more offensive to me, Dom, than it may be on the pitching side.
Couple minutes left here. I'm interested your thoughts that Cleveland has this unbelievable comeback, historic one, and then they're out in 3, And I know that's the format we're at. The Tigers go and win 2 out of 3 on the road and move on. How do you feel? I mean, it's 6 months, and I know the Guardians played their best ball the last 2, and the Tigers clearly didn't. Do you feel good about it? I don't know how to feel about it this morning after what went down yesterday.
I mean, the Tigers were a great team. The Tigers for 4 months,
were
4
really
and a half
awesome.
months, were one of the best teams in baseball. I mean,
Yep.
they were a great team, right? And they got cold at the worst possible time. At the same time, it took something. It wasn't just that Cleveland was hot, Dom. They did something historic.
Yeah.
I mean, the largest comeback ever to win a league or win a division is what we saw the Guardians do. So I look at this season like Cleveland. Bravo. I don't know if A.J. Hinch lost the Manager of the Year award based on how they finished. Did Stephen Vogt elevate his case? John Schneider, with Toronto being the 1 seed, finally figured things out with all that talent that they had. It's a talk. I think the National League, Pat Murphy's going to win that, and a landslide will be back-to-back winner in that category. But we could see a repeat. We could see that, both Stephen Vogt and Pat Murphy win it again in back-to-back years. But I still look at Cleveland's season as a big success. I mean, they lost Emmanuel Clase to a gambling suspension. Dominant closer, and yet still there they go. They lost a starter, gambling, Luis Ortiz. Okay. They trade Shane Bieber. I didn't see that coming at all. And Jose Ramirez, Hall of Famer, phenomenal player. I look at Cleveland's season as a massive success. I look at the Tigers doing what they were expected to do. They were one of the best teams in baseball. They've got the best pitcher in the game. They cannot lose school starts in the postseason, especially these shorter rounds. I mean, they've got to win those school games. And it's going to be a great matchup because Skubal is from that area in Seattle. That's pretty cool to have him. I'm curious if he's going to go game 1 or not because he'll be going 1 day short because he went Tuesday, so his 5th day would be Sunday. Yeah. Do they go Skubal? Because if you go Skubal game, I think you have to. Because I think in a short series, best out of 5.
Get that first one.
You need him twice. And I think you just cannot lose Skubal starts.
Yep. Before we go, first off, I want to say thank you again for doing this. You give our viewers so much great stuff, and it's a joy to do this each and every Friday. So the last 6 months has just been a blast, and I really hope we can do it again in 2026. Are you unplugged now? Are you watching any? Or are you done? I'm done. I'm done with baseball till next February.
I did watch yesterday because of the Jewish holiday. We just had time, and so we did watch yesterday. I mean, I did watch the Cub game because I was really invested with Cooper and I were really invested. I was really locked in on that yesterday. And I am very much looking forward to this Cubs-Brewers series here in the next round. Yeah. I'll really watch that. But I'm not doing it other games, other series with intent. If it's on, it's on. But if there's other things going on, I'm doing other things. But that Cubs-Brewers series certainly has I'm very much interested in that. And I just Euchre's watching this Milwaukee team, and I think Milwaukee's season would be disappointing if they get bounced in this round. Mm-hmm. How well they've been the best team in baseball, the best story in baseball, but can this advance? Can this run in October? This style is going to be fascinating. I think they have the better team, but that crowd is going to be awesome. I mean, you're going to see a whole lot of Cub fans there. Because if you're from the north side of the city, getting to Milwaukee is a heck of a lot easier than getting to Wrigley Field. And that's where I grew up. My wife grew up. And so getting up there with all that ample parking, there's a reason why they call it, Wrigley Field North up there. I mean, it really can be a Cub crowd. But, man, those Brewer fans are awesome. So I'm really much looking forward to that series.
Thanks so much, Bud, for doing this again. It was a blast. We've had 2 great years of doing it. Have a great offseason, and we'll talk to you next spring, okay?
All right, Tom, thank you. Enjoyed it each and every week, and great questions and great to interact with you via Zoom here, and I hope that the listeners had as much fun as I did.
They had a blast, Bud. Thanks again, man. Be well. We'll talk soon.
All right, Tom.
There he goes. Cory Provus joining us for the last time in 2025. His appearance is brought to us by Weldon's Tire Service. We appreciate them sponsoring his segment because it's been dynamite each and every Friday. We'll break. We come back. We'll wrap up our first hour. Big second hour coming is on the Football Friday edition of Hot Mike. Rolls on WDAY Extra. We're back right after this. All right, that was great stuff. Thanks to our guy, Cory Provus. We just dynamite stuff all year long. I really hope people appreciated that as much as I did. I learned something every time. He gave us a half hour each Friday from March to October. We'll break. We come back. We'll start our second hour. Central Cass got a biggie tonight. We'll preview that. Head coach Tommy Butler coming up on the other side of the break when Hot Mike returns.
Hot Mike on the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 ready to rock and roll on this Football Friday. Record height gonna come tonight. Maybe 90 sometime today. Won't be 90 for kickoff around the state, but it's gonna be plenty warm. And we're gonna be live tonight in Castleton to get you ready for our game of the week with a good one there between Grand Forks, Red River, and Central Cass. 2A football. Been really interesting so far. We profiled earlier with the games to watch this weekend. Minot North had a good year. Kindred, we know, is good. Devil's Lake is off to a nice start. And so are the Squirrels. Head coach Tommy Butler joins us on this Friday as they get ready to welcome in Red River for what should be a dynamite night for a football game. Appreciate you doing this. Tell me, we talked plenty about the adjustment of going from A to 2A. Now you're halfway home. Has this gone even better than you thought, or is this about what you thought you would be this year?
I mean, obviously the slip up against Devil's Lake is not what we want. Obviously, our goal always is 12-0, be state champions. So, with that loss, our mindset is just regroup, continue to learn, continue to grow. And I think that's what this group has done. We have a tremendous leadership team that we got on our team. And, these kids are bought in. They're willing to put in any type of effort that we ask of them. And, even with that loss, it was, we're on to the next week. And I think that's what our kids are so good at, is just continuously battling adversity, and it never lets them waver,
You've coached for a bit around here, so obviously you knew what the talent level was. How about for the guys? There's only so much you can tell them during fall camp or, leading up to the season. Was it early on, maybe the Devil's Lake game, where you thought, okay, it's a different level of football we're playing at now?
No, honestly, I mean, when in the league that we were in, having Kindred in there, Velva in there, I mean, there's some dudes in there. Yep. And we've been playing that for a while. The other nice part is we have a lot of really good kids on our team. So it's not like we just got 2 kids and that's it. So our guys get to see really good competition every day in practice. But like I said, I mean, and that old level, like there's some really, really good teams. I think, between us 3 teams, I think we could have competed at that AA level the past couple of years. So, that Devil's Lake game to me was 100% on me as a head coach and as us as a staff. I thought we put together a horrible game plan. And again, I think we've learned from that, and our kids just continue to believe and trust that we're going to come up with some good ones for them.
Okay, so let me get on the flip side of that. Since playing that level of football, has it made the transition easier then, quote unquote, my word?
Yeah. Again, I Travis Lamar's had a great plan moving forward. When so I was the head coach up in Stanley. And one of the things that happened to us was when I was up there, we were single A dominant, it was awesome. We move up to AA and we weren't ready. We weren't bought into it. People complained, oh my gosh, how could we possibly compete at this level? Where here at this one, we knew the transition was coming. We had been playing Fargo schools in JV games for a couple of years now. So our kids were ready for it. We said that from the moment we were going to move up to AA, the standard is the standard. We are trying to win a state championship. And again, our goal is to win every single game that we compete in. I think for us that's made if you want to call it the transition easier, is that, the standard doesn't change for us.
When you get, especially knowing full well who's going to be on the schedule, just sometimes it pops like you're going to go play Fargo South. That's different, and you've done it in the JV level, but that's going to be different. When you saw that, just for the guys of coming into Fargo to play, how big a deal is that?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, me and Coach Berg, we've been friends for a while now, playing together at Valley City State. We talked about how we couldn't wait to get up to the AA to go. We want to go see some Class A crowds out there, that are going to get raucous and, get wild. So we enjoy that. I mean, I coached at Fargo South with Troy Mattern for 2 years. So for me, getting back there and getting to play against those guys and, I've known Tyler for a long time too. So, getting to be around those guys and play at that level is one, it's where we should be. Our talent level is at that level. So, we're excited for that. I think our kids, like I said, were maybe a little hesitant at first, but the moment that we start, competing, it's, we're excited to every game matters and every play matters at this level. You have an off night like we did against Devil's Lake. You get beaten and again, credit to them for that. But, you don't get to have bad nights at this level.
Tell me about your quarterback. What has he brought to the table, being a returning guy that's played for Brody Kegley, and how well he's played for you so far this year?
Yeah, he's a dog, man. He's just a dog. Like, he's a competitor in every way. Bought in this year that he knew he had to get bigger. Obviously, he had a great year last year as a sophomore. Had to get bigger, had to get stronger, and completely bought into that and knows our offense in and out, is able to make checks if we need him to. Him and our offensive coordinator, Coach Iverson, are like, they're attached at the hip. So, for him, I think the game has really slowed down. We want him to be a field general out there where we want him to make the easy throws, but man, he makes some unbelievable throws down the field that I think really, teams can't just key in on the fact that we're going to run the ball and throw, short hitches and bubbles, because he'll absolutely light you up down the field.
To have a guy like that back, what does that do for you as a coach? That we've got a guy that knows it now. Does that give you freedom to coach other areas, knowing your quarterback is as solid as he is?
Yeah, so I coach the defense, and to have an offense that's as good as ours is, man, playing defense is way easier. When we were up in Dickinson, we go down 2 scores. They take the opening kickoff back in the second half. It's kind of feeling insurmountable, and then that dude just leads us right down the field, making crucial third down throws, and then we score a 2-point conversion, get a stop, we go back, score right away again, and all of a sudden we're winning. So to have an offense that can score points, man, calling defense is way easier like this.
I have to ask, I think your last game, did you have one of your offensive linemen score a touchdown? Can you break that down for what happened?
Yeah. So I grew up in Oregon. My head coach was all about trying to get our offensive linemen to score touchdowns. So I got to score one as a senior. And since I've been a head coach here, we've always tried to get our O linemen to get something. Last year we had our left tackle throw a pass. This year, we get Evan. We have been talking in the offseason, how do we want to try to score? Came across this clip and showed it to him, and the big fella was ready, man. All week he was running corners over, and then we get in the game and we throw that hook and ladder to him, and then he freaking dives, right in front of the WDAY cameraman. I thought he was going to go try to body surf in the crowd, but that was all of our volleyball team over there, so I was glad he didn't do that.
Oh, man.
But it was awesome. Our kids went ballistic on the sideline, and what an awesome way to cap off our homecoming night.
I can't believe yours was scored. You didn't get to the other guy who's the Division I guy, who I don't know if anybody wants to get in front of him, right?
Yeah. So Aiden, if you don't know, Aiden is about as quiet, mild-mannered, Minecrafty kind of guy. We kind of talked about it. He's like, nah, I'm okay. So Evan's like, heck yeah, let me score. I'm trying to get in there, Jennings Cooney's our center. Is like, hey, you got anything dialed up for me? So, we got something ready, though.
I was going to say, you've created a monster here now because your receivers and backs are going to want the ball, but now your offensive linemen are like, hey, hello, give me the rock here.
We're trying to create some energy and fun around our place, so that's really what it comes down to. If as an old lineman, blocking all the time is fun. It's really cool pancaking somebody, but man, you tell me I get a chance to tote the rock a little bit. Can't beat that now.
What was your play that you scored on? I'm sure you can tell me vividly. Can you describe what that was?
Yeah, we call it guard special. Just a little handoff. I played guard. It was like the Nebraska Fumblerooski. Very, very similar to that. 9 yards out against the Crook County Cowboys.
Oh, there it is. You still have the ball?
No, we were too cheap. I can't get that ball. That's budget items.
Tell me about your opponent tonight. What do you know about Red River coming in?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Muir has been good for a long time. I got a tremendous amount of respect for him. I got to coach with him up in the Shrine game. He's been around a lot of ball. So they got a lot of athletes. They're big up front. Obviously, playing in the state championship game, they got a lot of experience there. Again, they graduate guys, but it's, at this level, it don't matter. Like you just got the next crew ready to reload. And, I've been telling our guys, don't let that record fool you. 2-3 is not, it's not a regular, those 3 losses are not against schlubs. So, those are against some of the best teams in literally in all of North Dakota football. So for us, it's, we're excited to play them. We know this is going to be a really, really tough matchup. But again, I think we're excited to try to make them one dimensional. They want to get their ball to their athletes in space, but they are still a run team. They'll still cut you with the run game. So we can make them one dimensional, and then obviously offensively, they're big up front, and they're going to try to make us one dimensional. And we got to let our big dogs get moving downhill.
Forgive me for asking this because I can as a broadcaster. Don't give me the head coach answer, but your last 2 games are Central and Kindred, who know they're right above you. How much you're telling the guys, everything we want is in front of us. We take care of business, we're going to be the number 1 seed.
100%. I mean, I'm a firm believer that if you to have an end goal, you got to have a plan. So to me, like I told you, we plan to win every single game. I don't ever shy away from that. I know that is really hard. We've never done that. We haven't won a state title. So you could for sure just, try to bash on me that, oh my gosh, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. But to me, I think you got to have a roadmap. So that's exactly what we talked to our kids about was, this is now the new regular season that every one of these games matters. You obviously want the number 1 seed. It makes your life way easier. But, you have to take care of every game one by one. You can't get to Kindred without beating Red River, without beating Central. So for us, obviously, yes, those games are going to be awesome, but those games don't mean anything if you're 1-4 going into that Kindred week. So
I asked Eric about ending with you guys. I'll ask vice versa. You like having them as the last game of the season?
Heck yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! I mean, we want that matchup. That's the dream. Again, I think, and I would eventually he would tell you the same thing. I think we've made each other better. Yeah. Our rivalry has gotten better too, where it's. There's a lot. It's not just disdain. You hate them. I mean, obviously, I hate the color blue. I don't. I got 3 little girls. I mean, if you tell them something about blue, I mean, they're 2 thumbs down all the time.
That's fantastic.
But it's awesome. Our rivalry is what you want in North Dakota. I think where it's competition, but I got so much respect for those guys. I got respect for their kids. I think they play the right way. So it's going to be a fun matchup, but to me, we want to get there, granted, we're 4-1 or, could potentially have 1 loss on our team, but I want that matchup to be, us, 7-1 going in there. They're 8-0. That's the dream. And hopefully we come out on top.
I got to ask you, I know I talked with Travis about this, your perspective. We were talking about Aiden earlier of when he, in your mind, became a Division I prospect. Is there a time, anything that stand out to you to say this, okay, he's got it, he can do it at the next level?
Yeah, well, when he was a freshman and he was sitting in my office and he tells me at the end of the year, hey, Coach Butler, I'd like to be like Riley Sunram and be a Division I recruit. Hey, brother, I'm glad that you got goals, but boy, we are a long ways from there, right? So, and obviously I'm not going to tell him that, but I just told him, hey, we got a lot of work to do. There's a lot of things that you got to start doing. And the one thing that I had told him that was, he needed to get stronger. He was not very strong. He's pretty weak. And I said, he goes, well, what's something that I could do? And I gave him just a really easy, to me, this is a great test to see if you're really about that life. And it was, it's just a push-up thing. Hey, every week, figure out how many push-ups you can do at one time, times that number by 3. If you can do 10, that means you're going to do 30 push-ups a day. You do that every day, and then every week, whatever day you start on, let's say it's Sunday, every Sunday you retest. How many push-ups can you do? You got to 12 now. Now you're going to times that out. We just keep on moving. And he would literally come to me week after week. Hey, Coach Butler, you won't believe this. I got to, 12 push-ups. I got to 15. I'm like, hey, man, that's cool. And it was watching him go from, the first time he benches 115 pounds and he's like literally jacked up about that to now, he's benching, almost 300. Like, it was that. It was seeing that he's really doing everything that you ask of him and more. And always wanting more, trying to meet with our O-line coach, Avery Locke, who's one of the best in the business. How can he do it? Like he'd meet with him, in the summertime, doing one-on-ones with him. So to me, that was really what it was. And it's the same thing with Evan. Evan is the same exact person. So when you get two legit guys that are Division I, Division II prospects, boy, it makes you look a lot better as a coach.
Well, Lockway always loves to throw the football, so I don't know if Wiersma's now a receiving threat after what you did last week.
Hey, that boy's got some sweet feet. So, I mean, if you want to get him at some tight end now.
I'll let him know. He's on the show on Tuesday, so I'll let Steve know on that. This was great. Before I let you go, do you have a habit? Do you have a routine, like you personally, before you go out in the field? Do you have anything you have to do before you get out there?
Yeah, go run 3 miles.
No kidding. Seriously?
I'm an ultra marathoner. I ran a 58 mile down in the Badlands. So got to get a run in before we get going. So that's kind of what I like to do. Again, as being an old 300-pound D lineman, I'm trying to make sure I don't get back up to those 300 pounds again.
58 miles?
Yep. This summer.
Where did you go? Tell us about that.
Down in Medora.
Okay.
So it was actually the hottest weekend of the whole summer. It was when it was.
Of course it was.
It was like 97, or like it was 95 or 96.
Oh my God.
I mean, it was awesome. I had a great time. My wife came out there. My sister-in-law, my mother-in-law, father-in-law were kind of my aid team. There was a couple moments there where I thought, maybe your boy ain't going to be making it out here alive. I ran out of water and ran out of food.
Oh, my gosh.
Right in the hottest part of the day. But, you just kind of got to keep battling. And, if you're going to tell kids that they got to do hard things and they got to keep working, how could you be over here and looking like a schlub out here? So
more power to you. How long did it take?
13 and a half hours.
Holy cow. My goodness. What did you eat when you were done? What was the first thing you devoured?
For a cookie. They had these unbelievable cookies that were sitting there that I probably about 3 or 4 of those things. So and I don't know if they were really that good or if I was just
hungry. Yeah.
Literally dying. But yeah, that was awesome. And then trying to fight off the full body cramps.
This has been fantastic. You know what? Because I know Travis and I go back a long way. We share a bond since we're Jets fans, but I will make sure we get you back on the show sometime soon, okay?
Love it. Appreciate it, Dom.
Thanks so much for doing this, bud. Good luck tonight, and we'll talk soon, all right?
Hey, go Squirrels.
There he goes. Tommy Butler joining us, Central Cass head football coach. That was fantastic. Oh, man. 58 miles? Seriously? I'm excited. We did 3 walking yesterday. That is wild stuff there, and looking forward to that. Again, Central Cass and Red River coming up tonight. You can see it live right here on WDAY Extra at 7 o'clock out in Castleton. We're overdue for a break. We're caught up here. We got a bunch of emails to get to. Update on the Vikings. Who's in, who's out. That list keeps getting longer, which ain't great. Back on a Friday football edition of Hot Mike right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Great stuff there with Tommy Butler. That was a lot of fun. Got a bunch of emails coming in. Let's get to them fast and furious here before we do picks with my dad. Dom, this on the Twins. To me, the final game of the season was a microcosm of Rocco's tenure. 10th inning, Twins runner on second and 3 strikeouts. Phillies runner on second, bunt him to third, and a sac fly wins the game. I mean, I don't know if that's Twins-centric, because nobody bunts anymore. The teams that do, more often than not, end up actually driving the run in. I wouldn't condemn that. I would say fundamentally there were more issues than not with the baseball team. I will agree with that. This is going back earlier. We were talking about if we need a good name for the trophy with West Fargo and Horace. Email comes in, the Cheyenne Street Turkey Nest Trophy, the battle for the turkey nest. It's the main street that runs to Horace from West Fargo, and there are numerous wild turkey flocks that roam Cheyenne Street. Might need a nest-looking trophy. I can't confirm or deny. Is that accurate? You live out there. If we have a wild nest turkey trophy, that's not bad. At least it's something.
I can confirm turkeys are the biggest pain in the you-know-what out there because I think every time I go home, I almost hit about 5 of them.
Jeez. All right.
Like there's a flock, 52nd, like south of town that splits West Fargo and Horace.
Yep.
That roundabout, there's like a flock of 10 to 15 that sit there all the time.
That'd be a heck of a trophy name. I'll say that. But it might need something different there. Let's go back to the Twins. Dom, do you think the Twins would consider hiring Ron Gardner again? He was a huge believer in the Twins' way and had more good teams than bad. I don't. His son, maybe. I think the Star Tribune had a list of guys. Torrey Hunter's name is on there. Toby Gardner's name is on there. Again, we asked Cory Provus in our first hour if I had to have anybody connected to the Twins. I don't believe you do that. I think you want somebody with big league experience. If you have big league manager experience. Remember, Baldelli didn't before they hired him. I don't think, again, to lay this at Rocco's feet is completely unfair. It has to go upstairs first, long before it goes to the manager, because you can only do with what you are supplied with. And they were supplied with much talent, especially for the last two. Look at the lineups they were running out there the last 2 months of the season. It was comical. Another comes in. Dom, off the news on Wednesday. Would NDSU or UND be interested in Abby Ducher? By the way, shout out to our guy Sam for getting that interview yesterday. If you missed that, you can podcast now at inforum.com with Kindred's Abby Ducher. Made the news on Wednesday that she will play her final year of softball and then enter the portal. She's actually already done that, as she told Sam yesterday, and look to play basketball somewhere. And this is a long time coming. I have talked to the Ducher family about this, I don't know how many times, about basketball, because that's how she was known here. No one ever saw her play softball because she didn't play softball here locally. She played on travel teams in Minnesota and South Dakota, and that's how she reached softball stardom. How the SEC got wind of her was that. We knew her from the basketball court. We first saw her as a 7th grader win the state championship for Kindred. Then saw her again in 2019 when they won it again. And then her senior season when they went unbeaten and won the state title again. And she was named Miss Basketball that year. And that wasn't even her top sport. And the amount of people that asked me, well, what about basketball? And I know what I would ask them. And I asked Abby about it. And obviously she admitted yesterday that the passion for the game never went away. And she said it to Sam, a 6'1" guard, those are highly coveted. Now, she hasn't played any basketball in 3.5 years. But you would be silly to ignore that. And I could tell you, at least I know North Dakota State is interested. Whether that means they can get her remains to be seen. But I don't think she shied away, at least, from the idea of coming back home in her interview with Sam yesterday. I had this email as well, going back to that topic that we were talking about. Dom, when I Google, can a student play 4 years of D1 softball and then play 1 year of Division I basketball, Google tells me no. Once you've used your 4 years of eligibility, you cannot play an additional 1 year of basketball. Is Google wrong? Yes, they are. Never trust the internet is always a great fallback. Here's the deal. You have a 5-year clock. 5 years of eligibility, which I understand it's convoluted. So you can do 4 years of one sport and 1 year of another. Doesn't necessarily have to be at a different school. In this case, it will. She's not going to play basketball at Alabama. If you've seen anything about SEC basketball, that's where South Carolina plays. Don Staley's team's all right. LSU, Kim Mulkey's team, they're okay. All right. That's probably too high a level jump. But in the Summit League, I think that's a logical place there. So that's the answer, because I know I've had people ask me that, like, wait a minute, how's she have another year if she didn't redshirt and it wasn't the COVID deal because we're past that. It wasn't a medical deal. You have a 5-year clock. And honestly, I think we're probably going to have by the end of the year, you're going to have the NCAA sign off and say you get 5 years. That's it. There's no red shirts, nothing. You get 5. And that's the bottom line. Because the amount of eligibility cases the NCAA has lost in court, we're heading towards that. But to long-winded answer to the question, yes, I think there are many schools interested. UND would be, I think, silly to ignore it as well, that are interested back here. And yet she can do that at another school. And frankly, she could stay at Alabama, but that's just not gonna fly there. So appreciate the emails on that. Last one before we break. This is good segue. Dom, I'm sure the Jackman was a very happy camper when he got home from school yesterday with the Cubs playing on TV and they got the win. I think he was more happy the fact that whatever he's playing on his iPad these days, he was able to win. He's got this Hot Wheels game that he's unbeatable at. I can't beat him in it. And it was a happy byproduct of the Cubs. Hey, like, hey, the Cubs are playing. And he would tell my wife, his mom, what the score was. And, hey, the Cubs won. He was excited about that when I told him before bedtime last night that they had beaten San Diego. And now they get a matchup with the Brewers coming up in the next round. We will break. We come back. It's time for everybody's favorite segment of the week. It's time to pick some winners. Oh, boy. Gloating coming with the Yankee fan as well. I don't know how we can handle that. My dad's Stone Cold picks are coming up when Hot Mike returns after this.
If that was me and you, if you'd have went with a Boston, you'd have been living in the garage. I had a Yankee hat on, of course, which I usually almost always do, but she says to me, if I were you, I'd take that hat off. And I looked at what look at it to begin with. I ain't taking my hat off. I know where I am. Yeah, right.
You believe anything that guy says? Because I don't.
He said he was going to marry J-Lo, too, remember? I finally told your mom. I said, there's no sense. Let's just put TVs in the room because I'm only going to wake them up anyway. So
that's how I got a television?
Sponsored.
All righty, here we go. No, we're not. We're getting closer to a sponsor. Welcome back, everybody, to Hot Mike. There he is. I can't believe you're not out tipping cars after what happened. I know you're going to tell me you expected it. It's Boston. It's just the first round. There's nothing to get excited about, though, right?
Yeah, I'm pissed it took him 3 games. It's crazy.
Yeah, you lost with Max Fried. That's not great. He's been your dude all year long. So
yeah, that's just crazy. That first game, that was they're going that analytics crap when we won 27 championships without analytics. Now they got to go to that crap. You bench your 2 good players.
I know Chisholm.
Don't get me going because we won.
Jazz wasn't happy. He wasn't playing on Tuesday night.
He shouldn't have been happy. He was been there all year long.
Well, they played him on Wednesday. They won, and obviously Cam Schlittler, don't say that too fast, Air. I don't want us to get in trouble on the air, was great. I can't believe they brought him out for the 8th inning last night. That doesn't happen in baseball anymore.
Yeah, well, after game 1, if he'd have took him out, they'd have hung him. He did. The kid did unbelievable.
He was fantastic. Man. He was really good. Really, really good last night.
That don't happen too often, I'll tell you.
The crazy stat of last night was before the game, finding out the Red Sox pitcher, Conley Early, who looks like he's 15, was the youngest Red Sox starter in a playoff game since Babe Ruth in 1916. That was that. When I heard that, that's why baseball's awesome, because you have a stat like that.
And they left him in too long.
Yeah,
I
probably.
Can't believe I didn't believe he don't go get the kid.
Yeah.
You know, he was. I mean, it was just there were a couple of cheap hits, but they were hits. You know,
once the crowd gets going there at that place, it's just a different animal. There's just no other place like it. I'll say it.
Yeah, there isn't. It's just, and it was a packed house too. So.
Although your guy, Judge didn't hit last night. Stanton had, what was it, Wednesday night or last night? He struck out or had guys on bases loaded. And they got to have those 2 guys hit.
He thought he had a home run.
That's it. That was the one. Yes, Stanton crushed one last night and lollygagged out of the batter's box and nearly got thrown out at second base.
Yeah, he was almost thrown out. That was close. He thought it was gone for sure.
And I'm pretty sure you would have thrown your TV out the window had he got thrown out, right?
That would have been. That wouldn't have been good. That wouldn't have been too good. That's
All right, so now it's Toronto, and the Blue Jays own you guys. What do we make of this?
Boston owned us too, right? Remember? So let's go.
All right.
I'm ready. Whatever happens, happens.
Toronto's been really good all year long. So
this is 7 games, right?
No, 5. This is 5.
Oh, this one's only 5?
Yeah,
I thought it was 7.
ALCS is 7, but this is 5. So
oh, boy. Here we go.
And tomorrow it's on Fox, just so you know. All right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I figured the big boys had it tomorrow.
You got your TV situation. Tomorrow is Fox, and then Fox Sports 1 on Sunday because they got football on. So do you have enough devices Sunday? If you have NASCAR,
yes, I do.
You got football and the Yankees, are you going to be all set?
That's just right. I need 3, and that's just what I got. So I'll have them all going at once.
All right. Did you hit your parlay last night? Did you get that? Oh, man. You're living well here. Holy cow.
I had a 7-legger, but I only had a few bucks on it, but at least it hit.
What do you make of what Sean McVay did at the end of the game last night? You a fan of that or no?
Well, that's you play to win the game, right? Who wants to tie? Like I said, why would you kiss your sister? You don't really have to. So come on.
Well,
go for the win.
The Packers nearly, frittered it away at the end there because Jordan Love threw the incomplete. I mean, with 1 second left, or else they lose the game on Sunday night.
Right. Well, that's different. This one here, I don't know. It just.
Going for it.
They had 2 chances to make 1 yard.
Yeah, correct.
Do that. Come on.
And you can't fumble at the 1 yard line.
No,
going in
that
for a touchdown.
That
right?
one hurt him too. Yeah,
that was killer. So
yeah, but you know what? They were trying to take their time too, and it's just I don't know. Who knows?
San Francisco
analytics tells you not to do that. Yeah, right.
San Francisco's 4-1, by the way, without Purdy. 3 of the games without him.
This kid's playing better than Purdy.
Mac Jones, former Patriot great. Yeah, that's been pretty good.
Really, a little revitalization for this kid. We'll see.
All right, before we get going, we're down the stretch run here. You got a NASCAR pick for us to lock in on Sunday?
Oh, man. That Hamlin had that race last week. I loved it. 3 Toyotas take each other out and a Chevy wins. How can you beat that? I was just ecstatic. It was awesome. I don't know. I'd like to see. I got to believe Chase is pretty hot. He might get this one too.
So
but
last week, Chase Elliott won.
Yeah, he's pretty good he hasn't done crap at the road course. He's usually a lot better.
Yeah. All right.
I'll go with Chase.
All right, he's going with that. Why are they racing on a road course at the end of the year? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, they want more and more. But I guess people like them. I don't know.
Do they?
But, yeah.
All right. We'll see. That's
nobody's probably going to beat that SVG. But
that's what Eric was called. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to have to break in order to lose. So
that's on USA on Sunday. That starts at 2:00 Central.
Yeah, that's another one. Put them on cable and nobody can watch. Put them on cable, and then
everybody gets USA. What are you talking about?
And they wonder why the ratings are down. The ratings are terrible.
Well, I don't know what NBC's got in the middle of the day. They don't have golf. They had the Ryder Cup last week, so they knew they weren't going to preempt the Ryder Cup. So
yeah, but they don't put they put very few.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't do the programming at NBC. Don't get mad at me. I don't do the programming here. All
no, right. I'm just spouting off. I like me. I like to spout off.
You've got the 4. Hey, everybody loves it. So, how'd we do last week? Did you make any money?
Straight up 10-4.
Wow. All right. Good bounce back.
9-6 with the spread.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, let's rock and roll. We'll start with your sister's beloved Minnesota Vikings playing again in London against the Cleveland Browns. I just got a laundry list of guys who aren't playing for the Vikings. The Browns are going with Dylan Gabriel, rookie out of Oregon, to start at quarterback. The Vikings are a 3.5-point favorite.
She ain't talked to me all week since we spanked her last week. Give me the Vikings.
You're going back to Minnesota. All right. Minnesota.
Look who they're playing.
Well, the Vikes are all beat up. They got nobody on their offensive line right now. I don't feel good about it. The Cowboys are playing the Jets. You took the Jets, and they totally biffed it on Monday night. They're 0-4.
That's the worst team I've ever watched play.
The worst team you've ever watched play. That's saying something.
They're terrible. They're terrible.
They're not good.
Give me the boys.
The Jets are 2.5-point underdogs. Dallas, stat is taken there. The Raiders are at the Colts. Indianapolis should be 4-0. Lost that game in L.A. last week. They're a 6.5-point favorite at home against Vegas.
See the kid dropped the ball crossing the end.
All right, what are you doing?
Give me the Colts.
Indianapolis -6.5. That's the dumbest rule ever, by the way. The ball should be at the 1-yard line. It shouldn't go to the other team. I don't like that rule at all, the touchback deal.
Well, I know. They've been trying to change that one for years.
They should. I don't like that one. The Giants got a win behind Jackson Dart. Will face the winless Saints on the road. Saints are a 2.5-point home favorite against they haven't won a game. How are they a favorite?
Because of the Giants.
Oh.
I'm going to go with the Giants.
Giants getting points there, plus 2.5 in that one.
The Saints won a game yet?
No, New Orleans is winless. Yeah, they might be the worst team in the league. Oh, the Jets are battling them out right now. Jets and Saints right now for the number one pick. This should be a good one Sunday afternoon. Broncos at the Eagles. Denver blew out Cincinnati. Philly is unbeaten. Philly's a 3.5-point home favorite.
I like Denver.
Okay, Denver plus points. All right.
Just because I hate Philly.
So out of spite, you're picking the Broncos?
Yep.
All right, got it. The Dolphins are at the Panthers. Two teams combined for 2 wins. Miami is a 1.5. Basically, it's a pick 'em. 1.5-point favorite for Miami.
Yeah, go with Miami.
He's got Miami minus.
That's too bad with
Tyreek Hill
because he was the best player.
He's
it was just fun to watch.
He's a great player to watch.
Yeah.
Ugly. Don't go back and watch that play. His leg is pointing the wrong way. It's nasty.
I know. It's not good.
Texans at the Ravens. Looks like Lamar will not play this weekend. Out with a hammy. Houston's a 2.5-point favorite. Cooper Rush would start for Baltimore if Lamar can't play.
Texans.
He's all over. You hate Baltimore anyway, so we knew we were going to go there. Houston minus 2.5 there.
I'd have picked if Lamar was playing, I'd have probably picked that.
Okay. The late games, Titans at the Cardinals. Tennessee also was in the conversation of worst team. They haven't won a game yet. Cardinals are a 7.5-point home favorite.
Yeah, give me the Cardinals.
Arizona minus 7.5 there. The Bucks are at the Seahawks. Matchup of old retro jerseys on Sunday. Baker, I love watching Tampa play. They're in every game. Seahawks are a 4.5-point favorite at home over Tampa.
This Mayfield never gives up.
No.
Never.
Nope.
I'm going to go with the Bucks.
He's heard you talk smack about him for the last 5 years. That's why.
Yeah,
so
but
you're taking Tampa?
Commercials. You don't do commercials anymore, so not in our area anyway.
Tampa plus 4.5. Dad's taking that one. Lions are at the Bengals. Detroit, the line is up to 10.5. Holy cow. Cincinnati at home.
I can't believe it's that low. Give me the Lions.
You think Cincinnati's that bad, huh? All right.
They are that bad. Did you watch them play?
I watched part of the game Monday night. They weren't very good. Washington at the Chargers. Looks like Jayden Daniels will be back for Washington. The Chargers, off that loss to the Giants, are a 3.5-point home favorite.
Yeah, give me the Chargers.
He's got the Chargers in that one. Sunday Night Football is in Buffalo.
It pains me to pick a Harbaugh, but give me the Chargers.
You only pick one this week. Sunday Night Football in Buffalo. The Patriots are red hot. They've won 2 in a row against the unbeaten Bills. Buffalo's an 8.5-point favorite at home.
Give me the Bills.
That's a lot of points. I don't know if they'll cover there.
They will.
Chiefs are at Jacksonville. Jacksonville is 3-1. The Chiefs have won 2 in a row. Kansas City's a 3.5-point favorite on the road.
You watch them. They're back. Give me the Chiefs.
Oh, they're back?
They're back.
Taylor's album came out, so Kelsey probably will play big on Sunday or Monday night.
Well, I just wish they'd get over that crap. Play football. Give me the Chiefs. They're back.
Bye weeks to the Falcons, the Bears, the Packers, and your Steelers, so you don't have to worry about it this weekend.
Steelers.
Yeah, I know, Steelers always. Bison minus 24.5 tomorrow night at Illinois State.
When are they going to play somebody?
Well, These are conference teams. This is the 6th-ranked team in the country. This is not schlubs they're playing tomorrow night.
I went against them last week, and I should 2 weeks ago. North Dakota State.
Wow, you think they're covering? Holy cow. All right. We'll see.
The bookies got to know something.
They know something.
It's
funny. The line changed last week, the day of the game. It went up 3 points, and they were right. So you could have taken 40 points and would have been right last week. So
yeah, you just don't. They're not usually far off.
No, they know what they're talking about. That's why they make money.
Analytics. Is that what it is? Come on.
Have a great weekend. I love you, and I'll talk to you from Illinois tomorrow, all right?
All right, man. I love you. Have a good one.
There he goes, my Pops, with his NFL picks. We'll see if he can keep his red-hot streak going after last week. We'll take our final break. We come back. We got our Eliminator reveal, and we'll get you ready for a dynamite sports weekend. Hot Mike will wrap on WDAY Extra right after this.
Funny, the line.
Here on a Friday morning, getting ready for the weekend. We got a plane to catch here in a couple hours. This is your reminder, I'll do it again in about a minute, that we do not have the game tomorrow night. This is the Missouri Valley Football Conference game of the week, so this is exclusive. We have one more of these. That's the Jackrabbit game, and then we'll have the rest of the games this Bison football season, regular season, on WDAY. So they chose this one. We were hoping they were going to choose Indiana State. They opted to choose Illinois State. And rightfully so. I mean, they were thinking it's going to be a top 5 matchup, and it's 1 versus 6, so they were off by 1. But that's more of the reason why they have the game tomorrow night than we do. So that's the deal. But we're still bringing most of our crew, and we'll be there for Bison Game Day, our post-game show, all the 9 yards coming up here. All right, before we go, our segment's still going. Let's do our Eliminator. See who's still alive. All righty, we lost Sam last week in the Eliminator Challenge, so we are down now to the final 4. Eric, Brody, Matt, and the Jackman. Eric's on the Bills to beat the Patriots. Brody's on the Cowboys to beat the Jets. Risky pick. We're due for a win. And both Matt and the Jackman are on the Lions to beat the Bengals. We will see who's still alive come Monday. All these games coming up on Sunday. Again, $100 Shields gift card up for grabs to the winner of who can survive our Eliminator Challenge. Let's do some What to Watch before we get out of here. What to Watch is brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. Let's start tonight. We've got 2 high school football games coming up for you. We got Red River Central Cass live here on Extra at 7 on WDAY2. 1 versus 2. Davies and Shanley, the 25th Street rivalry game. That's coming up tonight. Highlights of both of those games on WDAY and on First Down Friday. Rest of the games around 3A. Here they are. Mentioned Horace and West Fargo playing for the first time. Keep our eyes on North and Cheyenne. That Century team, telling you they're going to win some football games. That's the 3A games. Mentioned in 2A, we've got Red River and Central Cass. Kindred tries to stay unbeaten. They've got South coming to town. Devils Lake will look to get to 5-1. They are at St. Mary's. Also tonight, we've got college football. West Virginia, BYU, late tonight, 9:30 on ESPN. That's preceded by Game 1 of the WNBA Finals. The Mercury and the Aces, 7 o'clock on ESPN. Sioux Falls legend Nate Tibbetts, the head coach of that Mercury team. We'll see what happens in Game 1. And we got Ivy League football tonight. Columbia and Princeton, 6:30 on ESPNU. A reminder, we're live tomorrow in Normal for Bison Game Day at 10 a.m. with myself, Sam, Jeff, and Kyle. We'll get you ready a full 8 hours for kickoff between Illinois State and North Dakota State. The game, as I mentioned, on ESPN+, and then we're back afterwards for Bison Postgame Live. Everything on WDAY Plus at Inforum.com. Post-game press conferences, highlights, all that coming up after the game in Normal. Again, here's the list of games coming up over the weekend and across the National Football League. Already with 1 game in the books, 4 teams with byes. Vikes and the Browns, 8:30 on Sunday morning on NFL Network. Also this weekend, we mentioned that, Vandy and Alabama. Remember last year, Vandy beat them. It's a ranked matchup, 2:30 tomorrow on WDAY. And just for my dad, a reminder, the Yankees play the Blue Jays Saturday at 3 in Game 1 on Fox. We got to roll. Our thanks to Cory Provus, to Tommy Butler, of course, to my dad. If you missed any of the show, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. You can watch a full replay on WDAY+. Everybody have a dynamite weekend. Enjoy the summer weather we got for today and tomorrow. And we'll see you back here on Monday on Hot Mic on WDAY Extra, KSFL, KMBN, and Inforum.com. Have a great weekend, everybody.